I heard what she told them, not right away and not directly, but eventually the way things reach you when you're the subject of them yourself. And I want to be honest about how I felt when I found out, because my first reaction wasn't what I would have expected of myself. It wasn't anger, and it wasn't defensiveness either, and it wasn't even the complicated mix of both that I might have expected, given that what she said was about me and was said to our children in a moment I had no part in and wasn't meant to be included in. What I felt was something very close to peace, and then something beyond peace, close to gratitude. And both of these reactions surprised me so much that I've been sitting with them ever since, trying to understand what they tell me about my own state, about her, and about what happened between us. What she said was gentle. That's the thing that created the peace, knowing that with our children, in a private moment when she had every right and every reason to say something harsh, what she said was gentle, something that gave them a version of their father they could hold on to without being hurt by it. And that gentleness was a choice, I know that. It wasn't the absence of harsh words, it was a deliberate preference for the gentle truth over the harsh ones that were also available and also true. And that choice tells me something about her that I always knew but was reminded of in this particular way. She told them something true. I won't tell you exactly what it was, because those words belong only to that particular moment between her and our children, and I have no right to make it any more public than it has already become by chance, through my finding out. But the truth she told them wasn't the kind of truth that diminishes a person or the kind chosen because it causes harm. It was the kind of truth chosen because it gives the person something real to hold on to, rather than something false. And the real thing she gave them about me wasn't the easiest version, but it was a generous one, generous in this particular sense, that it requires you to set aside what would be justified and choose instead what serves the people you're speaking to. I've thought about what I would have said in her place if the situation were reversed and I were the one talking quietly to our children about her, and I think I'd like to believe I would have been just as generous as she was, but I'm not certain, and that uncertainty tells me something about the difference between us that I think she has always understood better than I have, that her ability to speak a particularly generous truth in difficult circumstances is something I've never quite matched, and which I now consider one of the things about her that I respect most, and which I wish most that I had fully understood back when we were still at the point where that understanding could have shaped the way I stayed with her. She did right by our children that night. She also did right by me in a way I didn't deserve and will never forget,